What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying your lives to the fullest today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Subaru Impreza RS. Huge thank you to Tyler Wright over at Stohlman Subaru of Sterling, Virginia for allowing me to do this review for you guys today. If you guys are interested in this particular Impreza RS or any Subaru product, I'll be sure to have Tyler's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, first let's talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Subaru Impreza RS, and this particular one has been painted in crystal white pearl. A couple things I wanted to go over that have to do with the 2024 Impreza before we get into the exterior part of this video is that for 2024, the RS nameplate returns to the Subaru lineup. So the RS is an all-new trim level to the Impreza, and also the Impreza for 2024 as a whole got refreshed both on the inside as well as the outside. And then also, sadly, for the 2024 model year, the CVT is the only transmission option that you guys can get. There is no longer a manual standard in the Impreza, which is unfortunate, but the CVT is pretty good in this. But let's start over here at our headlights. So with the Impreza RS, you guys do get LED steering responsive headlights with automatic high beams as well as LED daytime running lights. You also do get a black headlight bezel and LED fog lights towards the bottom of your front bumper. But working our way to the center of the front end, let's talk about this front grille. So with the RS, you guys get a satin black front grille with two gloss black grille bars on either side of your Subaru logo. Obviously, your Subaru logo is located at the center of your front grille. And then working our way just a tad bit back, you also get some gloss black trim above your fog lights as well. And they're kind of like an L shape. So taking a look, you guys may be able to see, I'm not sure how well the GoPro is going to pick it up, but these pieces, again, above your fog lights are gloss black. And I really like the redesign for the 2024 model year. I think they gave the front bumper the necessary changes that it needed to make it look a lot more aggressive. So you may be able to see those body lines just to the left and right of your headlights respectively. I really like the way that looks, especially here on the RS. And then working our way down just a tad bit more, you also get a satin black lower grille. And if you guys were wondering about the ground clearance with the RS, you guys get 5.1 inches of ground clearance with the Impreza RS. One thing that I also really like about the 2024 redesign is this fender crease right here. And I'm not sure how well the GoPro is going to pick it up. I can see it is picking it up just a tad bit, but right here I think that really adds to, you know, the sporty appearance of the Impreza as a whole, but especially here with the RS. And then working our way down to just a tad bit more, the RS trim level does get a sport tuned suspension as well as these 18-inch dark gray wheels, and these wheels are wrapped in a 225/40 Yokohama Avid S34 tire. I will give you guys a view of the tread pattern on that tire as best as I can. There's really not that much wheel well gap, so I can't really fit my camera in there. But also with the RS, you guys do get upgraded bigger brakes, so this thing definitely stops better, you know, than the other trim levels of the Impreza. And then also, I believe it is now electrically brake boosted for the 2024 model year as well, just to improve the brake bite a little bit more. But coming up just a tad, you also get heated wiper park area. So basically right now where the wipers sit, if I lift this up a little bit, I'm not sure how well the GoPro is going to pick it up, but basically this whole area right here is heated, so basically ice is not going to build up on your windshield wipers if you live in the Northeast or, you know, somewhere where it snows. But working our way into the side view mirrors with the RS, you guys get gloss black mirror caps with integrated turn signals. These side view mirrors are heated, they're also manual folding, and you get your blind spot monitoring on the inside of the mirror. So about right there is where you'll find your blind spot monitoring, and then over about like right there is where you'll find your blind spot monitoring on the passenger side view mirror. But let's take a step back and look at the side profile of the newly redesigned Impreza. So starting with the window trim, you guys get black window trim as well as body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind that the keyless access function is only on your front two doors. And then obviously what comes standard or specific to the RS is this this RS badging on your front two doors, and you also have one on your rear hatch as well. But one thing that I really like, at the bottom of all your passenger doors, you guys get these gloss black side skirts, which again just add to the aggressiveness of the RS, and they also accent the gloss black mirror caps and the black trim on the front bumper. I think all of this comes together, especially here on the white. I think all these things accent each other very, very nicely. It makes it kind of like a stormtrooper theme, so to speak, in a way. But up top here, you get a satin black shark fin antenna, as well as a gloss black roof spoiler. You also get a rear window defroster back here, obviously, and a single speed rear wiper. Let's do a little booty shot of the RS. That is what it looks like. With the RS, you guys get a black taillight bezel. You have your Subaru logo at the center of your liftgate, and then just below your Subaru logo is where you will find your backup camera. And then to the right of the backup camera, you have this little pad. This is a manual opening hatch, I guess you could say. It's not much of a liftgate, but pushing on that pad, the liftgate or the hatch will pop open. You have a cargo area protector right here, and then there are a few different options back here. So this one also has the $161 rear seat back protector, which is basically like a floor mat on the back of the seat to protect the carpet from your wet dog if it's, you know, wet and trying to, you know, scratch up against the seat back. You have those rear seat back protectors to protect that from growing mold. And then this one also has the $132 all-weather floor mats. So that is what these look like. They're basically rubber floor mats. And then this one also has the $132 cargo tray, which is down here, basically like a rubber floor mat for your cargo area. You get a little cup holder thing here. You get a light over here you can turn on or off by the push of that button. And then underneath all of this, you have a tire inflator kit. So you do not get a spare tire, but you get that tire inflator kit right there. And these are the stock or the standard floor mats that come with the RS. So they are badged with the RS. These are carpeted floor mats, and again, these are the ones that come standard with the RS. You also get a nice little storage cubby on this side as well, but that's really kind of about it for what we got at least going on in the trunk. And then just like what you found in like the 2024 Crosstreks, you also get this like mountainous terrain style thing on this plate right here. So pretty cool, and it just adds to kind of like the adventurous side of Subaru's clientele. And then last but not least, this also does have the $132 rear bumper applique, which you guys aren't going to really be able to see, but you see that little line right there. It's basically a piece of paint protection film that starts here and then ends about right here. So it goes from there to there, so you're not scratching like the rear bumper when you guys are dragging stuff in and out. So you guys can scratch this up all you want, and again, it's just basically a piece of paint protection film, which is basically like a protective sticker that goes right there. But that's really about it for that hatch area. You guys get a body color rear bumper with 2 reflectors on either side of that bumper respectively. You get chrome badging back here, and you have your RS badging on the lower right hand side of your hatch. You get a satin black rear valance, as well as a 370 axle ratio with the RS. And then for 2024, the Imprezas as a whole, doesn't matter what trim level you get, they upgraded the fuel tank from a 13.2 gallon capacity to a 16.6 fuel tank capacity. So basically you get 3 gallons more of fuel capacity with the 2024 Impreza. There are no fuel requirements with the Impreza RS, which is always nice. So you can put regular in this and be totally fine. But let me know what you guys think of the 2024 Impreza RS in the comments down below. Personally, for me, I think this looks leaps and bounds better than the 2023 body style. Again, that's just my personal opinion, but it definitely looks a lot more updated, and it kind of reminds me like right this area of like the 2024 Crosstrek and the 2023 WRX. They have very similar design language. But with that out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that new for 2024 to the Impreza, and specifically the RS trim level 2.5 liter naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder that makes 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a Lineartronic CVT with an 8-speed manual shift mode for a 0 to 60 time in 8.2 seconds. If you guys were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 26 miles per gallon in the city 33 miles per gallon on the highway for 29 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. So I think those fuel economy numbers are really, really good, especially considering you guys get standard all-wheel drive and the bigger motor now for 2024. So all the other trim levels, no matter if it's the Sport or any of the other Impreza trim levels, they get the 2-liter motor, whereas the RS now for 2024, this is the first time Subaru has ever put the 2.5-liter boxer 4-cylinder in the Impreza. But if you guys are enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm now on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your guys' help. So if you guys are enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. But let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned to you guys earlier on in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you got to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by running your finger across these 2 hash marks right here, and now the vehicle is locked. But again, put your hand behind the door handle with the key fob in your pocket, and the vehicle will open up. So you may be able to tell right off the bat that the RS does get cloth upholstery with that red accenting throughout basically the entire interior. So taking a look at the driver's side door panel, basically this whole area right here that I'm circling with my pointer finger is all cloth, and then you guys get some leather on your armrest with some accent colored stitching in red. Black door handle, you get some gray trim around your door handle. Power side view mirror controls, unlock and lock functions, automatic up and down windows in the front, but you do not get automatic up or down windows in the back. That is to restrict your passenger window privileges. And then one thing that I always really like about Subaru is that they pay attention and they have great spots that you guys can set your phone in the door panels, as well as basically the entire interior. They always think about a spot you can set your phone in the door panel, however, which I really appreciate. You also got a great spot you could set a Deer Park water bottle, and you get a little bit of miscellaneous storage space to the left of that Deer Park water bottle storage space. So this particular one has been optioned with the $2,070 option package 33, and basically what you guys get with that is this 10-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, as well as this 10-way power driver seat with 2-way lumbar support and that power sunroof all the way at the top. But like I said, you get a 10-way power driver seat with option package 33, and again you get 2-way lumbar as well. But stepping on into the interior, let's take a look at what the 2024 Impreza has to offer in here. So you may be able to tell at the bottom down here, you guys get these sport pedals, and they are aluminum with a little bit of rubber. They look fantastic. But like I said, keyless access, that also means you get push button start. So all you got to do is have the key fob in the interior, push your foot down on the brake, and then push to start. And if you guys can hear it, that is what the 2.5 liter sounds like when it fires up. But I'm gonna close that door, I'm gonna roll a window down and turn the climate control system off, so you guys have good audio here when I'm talking. But starting over here, you have this little knob. This is to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster and your backlit buttons. You get a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and what I mean by that is that the steering wheel will come towards you, it goes away from you, and then it also moves up and down as well. Taking a look at our turn signal stock, this is also your headlight control stock and your fog light control stock, and last but not least, it's also your high beam control stock. But let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. And then, like I said, headlight control stock, so all the way down, headlights off, headlights automatic, daytime running lights on, and then all the way up top is headlights in the always on position. That's fog lights off, that's fog lights on. Just keep in mind, like right now, it's daytime, I have my headlights in the automatic mode, but my fog lights are in the on position, but my fog lights are not on. So when it starts getting dark in the headlights in the automatic position, and when the headlights turn on themselves, then the fog lights will turn on. But if you guys want your fog lights to be on for some reason throughout the day, turn your headlights in the always on position, and then your fog lights will be on. Thought I might point that out. Coming back just a tad, this is what your steering wheel looks like. It is a leather wrapped steering wheel, and you get red accent colored stitching on the inside of the steering wheel. Like I mentioned to you guys when we were talking about the performance, this is a CVT. However, you do get an 8-speed manual shift mode, and to control that transmission, you have these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. You can downshift on the left hand side of the steering wheel and upshift on the right hand side of the steering wheel. Let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the 2024 Impreza. But over here, that is to go back on a track, that is to go forward on a track, that is to switch between your different AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth audio, USB, auxiliary jack, all your different audio sources. Coming down just a bit, these arrows up and down are to control your productivity screen at the center of the gauge cluster. That is to pick up on a phone call. That is to mute the audio system as well as hang up on a phone call. That is to speak to the vehicle, so you can basically tell the vehicle to do something for you. You know, very limited in what you can tell it to do. Basically, you can tell it to, you know, do the HVAC controls or something like that. But that is to volume down. That is to volume up. You guys get adaptive cruise control as standard, as well as lane departure warning as standard with the Impreza RS and pretty much all the other Impreza trim levels. But specific to the RS, you guys get this SI drive. So basically you have Sport Intelligent, and those are your two different drive modes that you can you know, mess with on your steering wheel. So that's S, and then that's Intelligent. Pretty cool. And then you have your windshield wiper control stock on the right hand side of your steering wheel column. You also get a RS specific gauge cluster. So basically you get that red outlining around your gauges, and then you have that RS lettering on your speedometer. But let's go throughout this gauge cluster. So on the left hand side of the gauge cluster, you have your RPM gauge. You also have your coolant temperature gauge. And then on the right hand side, you have your speedometer and your fuel gauge. Working our way to the center, this is what your productivity screen looks like. Basically at the top, you have your instant fuel economy. Right now we're basically not getting very good fuel economy because we're stationary parked, but let's say we're coasting down a hill. This will come over to this side. You can see that plus, basically signifying that we're getting better fuel economy. So instant fuel economy stuff up top there. Coming down just a little bit, it's letting us know what audio is playing. That's your digital speedometer readout. That's your transmission status. That I lets us know that we're in intelligent mode, and then that is the trip information, and then that is your odometer. So this vehicle only has 9 miles on it. If you guys want to reset the trip information where it says 9.8, you have this trip reset button over here that you just press and hold, and then those numbers will reset back down to 0. But again, to control this productivity screen, all you got to do is use these arrows on the left hand side of the steering wheel. So clicking down one, that is the time and the temperature. Then you have your fuel range, and then this is some more analytical data. This is pretty cool. So basically when the vehicle turns off at a stoplight with the auto stop start system, it counts how long the vehicle has been off for and how much fuel it has saved on that trip with the auto stop start system turning the vehicle off. Going down one more, this is your tire pressure information stuff, and then you go back into your audio stuff. And that's kind of about it for this screen. This is the screen that I would personally leave my Impreza in because I want to know the time and I want to know the temperature, but again, that's personal preference. But working our way into this screen over here, this is all new to the Impreza for the 2024 model year, and this is the 11.6-inch Starlink infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. So basically now the interior looks the same across the Subaru lineup for the most part, other than like the Forester, I believe, is the only one that now doesn't have this screen. But working our way into this screen comes standard on the Sport and the RS, and then all the other Imprezas below those come standard with a 7-inch screen that you can option for this screen, but this comes standard on the RS. But up top here you have your hazard button. This is your volume control knob. If you press that once, that will turn the audio mute on. It lets you know that over there. Then if you press and hold on this will turn the screen off. And then if you press and hold on that volume again, then the screen will turn back on. And then that is your front defroster. You have a dual zone climate control system. So these are your driver temperature controls. These are your front passenger temperature controls. That is your rear window defroster button. And then this is your tuning knob. If you press and hold on that, that will bring you into your tone settings with the Harman Kardon sound system. So you can adjust the bass, the mid-range, the treble, and then the balance and the fader. But working our way into this screen, up top here you have the ambient exterior temperature. You also have the current time. This is your audio information. Click over to the right, that is like your different temperatures and such, and then all the way over is your weather report. But coming down, this is what the home screen looks like. So you got your radio, your media, your phone, your apps, your settings, My Subaru, Apple CarPlay, car information. Basically shows you the driving statistics and maintenance stuff. So that is what your maintenance stuff looks like. It's actually pretty cool and very intuitive, this screen, very easy to use. This is what your second screen looks like. Basically, auto vehicle hold will hold you in place if you're stuck in traffic, you're tired of holding your foot down on your brake by yourself. If you turn that on, basically the vehicle will hold you in place on its own with its braking system. It's a very nice feature. And then you can turn the traction control system on or off by the push of that button. Coming down just a tad bit more, this is like your vehicle settings. So you can go into your vehicle control, your driver assistance stuff, and some more settings if you wanted to. This is to turn your auto stop start system on or off. And then this will bring you into your different phones. Right now, my phone is the only one connected, and it's connected to CarPlay. And then you have your different driver profiles. Basically, I'm just on default because, you know, this isn't my vehicle, so I'm not really going to mess with it. But then you can see down here, this is what your climate control screen looks like. So clicking on that, that will make the entire screen the climate control screen. So that is what your climate control screen looks like. Clicking on that X, that will X you out of that screen. And that's kind of about it for that screen. Coming down just a tad bit more, you have an auxiliary jack, a USB-C port, and a USB-A port. And then just below that, this is the wireless charging pad. The wireless charging pad comes standard on the RS. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max and it fits down in here, no problem. So if you guys have a bigger phone, don't fret, it will fit in the wireless charging pad. This is what your gear shift selector looks like. To go into manual mode, you got to go into drive and then flip that over to the left. And now you can control the transmission with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. The RS also comes standard with heated front seats with 2 levels of adjustability, both being high and low. Those are your heated seat buttons down there. Then this is your electronic parking brake pull up to engage the parking brake. You can tell it's engaged with that red light there. If you guys want to disengage the parking brake, you have to push your foot down on the brake and then push down on that, and then the parking brake will disengage. Coming back just a tad, you have 2 cup holders here as well as a 12-volt power outlet. So if you guys have a, let's say, radar detector, you can plug that in and then set your radar detector up top there, and you can use that while you're driving. You also get a nicely padded armrest with some red accent colored stitching. Opening up the armrest, let's see, I would say about 65% of my forearm fits down in there. So honestly, for a vehicle of this size, there is quite a bit of storage space down in there. And then let's say, you know, the driver has their phone in there, but then your passenger is like, well, I don't feel like holding my phone, and then this is also clogged up. You can put your phone right here as well, even with this closed. So if that's closed, you can also sit your phone down in there. So good spot, you can sit your phone over there. The passenger side door panel looks pretty much the exact same as the driver side door panel. One thing that I do not like about the 2024 Crosstrek and the 2024 Impreza is that you no longer have your, what is this called? The headrest function. So basically you can't move this forward, you can't move it backwards. You no longer have the adjustable headrests for the 2024 model year, which I think is a big shame on Subaru's part. They should have incorporated that in the 2024 model year. That is what your glove box looks like. It is not a lockable glove box, but you have a good amount of storage space, and then you have some more of that gray trim that leads nicely into the door panel. This is what your rear view mirror looks like. I would assume you can get the rear view mirror with auto dim feature, the compass, and the home link. This one does not have that, so that's just a standard rear view mirror. This is where it lets you know if your passenger airbag is on or off, as well as your other passengers to the left of that. Coming up just a tad, if you guys want your lights to turn on when you open up the door, flip that to the left. Now when you open up the door, all the interior lights will turn on. Now, with those lights on, I might as well mention that this one also is optioned with the $150 LED interior light upgrade, which turns these lights from halogen to LED. And then you have like your SOS. Basically, this is like roadside assistance stuff for Subaru. Basically, think about it like Subaru's version of OnStar. And then again, with option package 33, which is a $2,070 option, you guys get this power moonroof that you guys can slide as well as tilt. So I'll tilt it. That is what the tilt function looks like, and then that is closed, and then obviously you know how it slides. But working our way into these visors, you get a vanity mirror with a vanity light that is LED. However, the visor itself doesn't slide, but you have this little slide out here to block that sun when it's in those awkward positions. And then last but not least, here with the visor, you also have a spot you could set money, registration, or any small paper product in that band right here. OPU panel over here on the driver's side. You also get an OPU panel over there on the passenger side as well. A couple things I wanted to go over before we moved into those rear seats, and those have to do with, you know, a couple standard features that you guys get with the 2024 RS. So what comes standard on the 2024 Impreza RS includes the 11.6-inch Starlink infotainment system with the wireless Apple CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto, as well as that wireless charging pad, heated front seats, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert. Now I'm going to throw the window sticker on screen for you guys to take a look at. Basically, basically, you guys can take a look at the optional stuff. You guys can take a look at the standard stuff, the fuel economy, and the warranty stuff. But basically, I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Impreza RS is spec'd is $31,752. Let me know what you guys think of that price in the comments down below. Personally, I think that is a very good value. You know, this thing isn't the fastest thing in the world, but it's comfortable, it looks good, and you get pretty much all the features that you really need on a vehicle and a little bit more. You know, you don't need the adaptive cruise control, but it has it. So this is a very good value, in my opinion, for, you know, just a touch over $30,000 or $31,000. So I do want to show you guys what we got going on in these rear seats before we moved into the driving portion of the review. So taking a look at the door panel back here, you may be able to tell it looks similar to the front, but a little bit different. You get the red accent colored stitching, the black door handle. Remember, you can also have a spot you can set your phone. No automatic up or down windows back here, but you get a little bit of storage space at the bottom of the door panel as well. Just like the front seats, you get that red accenting on these cloth seats. This is what these seats look like back here. But stepping on into the interior, you do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat, but you do get a seat back pocket behind the front passenger seat. You also get a USB-C port and a USB-A port back here. But folding this down, you also get a center fold down armrest with 2 cup holders and a nicely padded armrest. You get an OPU handle over here, as well as on my side as well, with a spot you can set your dry cleaning. Obviously, same thing that goes over here as well, OPU handle and a dry cleaning holder. And then this is what your rear dome light looks like. Again, it is LED. I am sitting behind myself. I am adjusted behind myself. I'm 5'9". I've got plenty of leg room, plenty of knee room. Here's another view of the leg room that I have, as well as the knee room. And then also 5'9", I've got a good amount of headroom as well. Honestly, these seats back here are pretty comfortable, especially considering, you know, the size of this vehicle. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior of the Impreza RS. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, guys, and now on to the driving portion of the review, where I always start my videos here, at least when I film out this way. I go over these speed bumps at 5 miles an hour, and then I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. I did very well over that first speed bump. Now let's see how it does over here on the second one. Again, 5 miles an hour. It's about 5. I'm gonna give this thing an 8.2 on a scale of 1 to 10. Just keep in mind, this is the sport tuned suspension. And with that in mind, let's do the body roll test. Very minimal body roll. Like, this thing handles very, very well, and you can tell that it has the sport tuned suspension. And that is one of the things that I noticed pretty much right off the bat when I first started driving this thing. You know, I started kind of testing it around, like turns that I was taking, nothing crazy, but you can definitely tell that this thing has a sport tuned suspension because there's very, very minimal body roll. Also, let's do a little acceleration here, because after all, this is a new motor to the Impreza for the 2024 model year. I'm in intelligent mode, just doing a little, you know, merging right there. I'm not in sport mode, I'm in intelligent. And you know, one thing I wanted to say about the power plant is that yes, it feels more powerful for sure than the 2-liter. But with that said, you know, this isn't going to be the fastest thing you've ever driven. Don't expect this to be as fast as a WRX, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's quick, but it's not like super, super quick, you know what I mean? Like, it's got, you know, good power, you know what I'm saying? But I know, you know, if you're coming from a WRX and you're looking at getting one of these, again, don't expect it to have WRX level power. You know, it's got the turbo 4-cylinder. This has the naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It is a little bit bigger than the turbo 4-cylinder by like 0.1 liters. But yeah, the 2.4 definitely has more pep. And you know, one thing that I was like, is like talking to the manager like months and months ago, I was like, why don't they just put the 2.4 liter turbo in the Impreza? And he was like, well, you know, then that would start taking sales away from the WRX, which totally makes sense. But you know, I think with those fuel economy numbers in mind, and considering, you know, what what the purpose is of the Impreza, I think this is more than enough, you know, power. It's got good get up and go, but again, don't expect it to have WRX level power. However, you can expect it to have WRX level handling, because it does handle very, very well. So honestly, this thing would be very well suited for driving on a back road. Let's say, you know, you live in the country, you're looking at a vehicle that gets good fuel economy, but it's also fun to drive, but also looks good. I think this kind of checks all of those boxes, because I do think it looks good. I do think it drives very well. Not only does it handle well, but also just cruising down the street, you know, at 55 miles an hour, it handles very well. I'm gonna give you guys a couple seconds to hear what it sounds like at 55 miles an hour without me talking. All right, also comparing this to like the 2023 and below Imprezas, I feel like, and I know this could be placebo because I'm not 100% sure on this, but I feel like they added some more sound deadening to the 2024 Impreza. It just feels a lot more, not a lot more, but a little bit more solid sounding and feeling than the 2023 model year. And then also, I know looks are subjective, but I'm going to talk about looks here real quick. I think this looks a lot better and just sharper and just more aggressive than the 2023 model year did. And you know, obviously this is the sporty variant of the Impreza, so you kind of expect it to be, I guess, to be better looking. But you know, this has pretty much the same body lines as all the other Imprezas, so really not that much going on in the styling department, all that much different than the other Impreza trim levels. You know, obviously it's got the bigger motor, it's got like the blacked out things and trim pieces on the exterior, but really when it comes to the body lines and stuff, it remains relatively similar to all the other Impreza trim levels, like the Sport and stuff like that. So another thing, like I said, you know, it is good, it's got good power. You know, if you're driving around the city like I'm doing right now, you know, you don't feel like it really is lacking on power if you're just, you know, trying to cruise and get up to the speed limit. But you know, once you start putting the hammer down a little bit, you'd be like, you know, it is a little bit lackluster, I guess, in the power department. But that's not the point of this. You know, I keep going back to that, but that's really not the point of the Impreza RS. The point of the Impreza RS is to have something that looks good, something that's fun to drive, something that handles well, and something that has more power than the other Impreza trim levels. And honestly, if you're coming from, you know, an Impreza Premium, it's a 2023 model year, and you get into this, you're going to notice that it has more power. You're definitely going to notice that it has more power. And then also another, you know, point to this is that you know, this is kind of like a baby rally car, so theoretically, you know, you could rally this. Obviously, it's not going to rally as well as a WRX would, but it's just a great daily driver that looks good, that's fun to drive, that you could drive in the snow and have a little bit of fun with. So again, the point of this isn't a ton of power, even though, you know, it does have the bigger engine than just all the other Impreza trim levels. So it is more powerful than those. I like that orange on that Crosstrek there. So it's got good power. I mean, I know I'm saying that, you know, it doesn't have a ton of power, but also, you know, 2 days ago I was just driving the 2023 Corvette Z06 and I was ripping on that thing. So I am a little bit jaded to power right now, so just keep that in mind. And I've also been daily driving my Camaro, which is also a V8, so just keep that in mind as I'm going throughout this video. I'm just a little bit jaded to power right now, just because of the cars that I've driven the past couple of days and weeks. So honestly, for what it is, it's got great power. Like I said, when this vehicle turns off, you can see it's counting, and then it's also counting how much gas that it has saved with the auto stop start system with the vehicle off. As soon as this light turns green, I'm going to do a little acceleration. I'm probably going to floor it, you know, once I get straightened out on that road there, and then we'll just see how it does power wise. So I'm going to put it into sport mode, just, you know, for best acceleration results. So now floored. So honestly, you know, once you widen this thing up and you get higher up in the RPM range, it does actually start to pull a little bit. But you know, just like any other NA motor really, unless you're driving a truck, you kind of have to wind them out in order to kind of feel that power. And that goes the same for this, but that's kind of like, that adds to the charisma and that adds to the soul of the cars. Like, you kind of got to tap into it in order to get that power. So I'm always a fan of a naturally aspirated motor because you can feel the power build, you know, the higher up that you get in the RPM range. Whereas, you know, on a turbo car, you get to like 3,500 RPM and then it just kind of, you really starts to pull. So that's kind of like the charm of a naturally aspirated motor, is that you got to wind it up and kind of just feel that power build. So one thing I want to talk about is the Harman Kardon sound system. So if you guys want, you know, a good sound system in a vehicle, you might want to get the option package 33. I know it's a $2,070 option, so it is a little bit pricey, but you get the good sound system, you get the power moonroof, and you get the power driver's seat with the two-way lumbar. So if those are three things that are important to you, you might want to get that package. If those are three things that you guys feel that you can skip, by all means skip that package. However, if I was to buy an Impreza, I'd probably get that package because, you know, the reality is this is a pretty affordable vehicle in the grand scheme of things, and considering car prices today, you know, for $31,700 and some dollars, just a touch under $32,000, I think this is, again, a great value at that price point. But before we end out today's video, I am going to do a 0 to 60 test, so let's skip into that now. All right, pulling up to our line, we're going to do a 0 to 60 test on the 2024 Impreza RS. All we got to do, line up on our line and floor it in 3, 2, 1, floored. There you go. That is a 0 to 60 test on the 2024 Impreza RS. And honestly, I think that 0 to 60 time was honestly relatively quick. I know it says it's an 8-second 0 to 60 time, so I'll have to rewind the footage, put the timer on the video, and see how it did 0 to 60 wise. But you know, like I mentioned, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's also not the slowest thing in the world, and it's definitely faster than the 2 liter. So if you guys are looking for an Impreza, you want just a little bit more power, something that looks a little bit better, and just, you know, overall fun to drive, then I highly suggest you at least go out and try to find one of these, because these things are hard to find, at least right now, because they just came out. So if you guys are interested in this particular one, it is at Stohlman Subaru of Sterling, Virginia. Ask for Tyler. Overall, it's a great vehicle. It's fun to drive, and it's also very, very comfortable. So that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I am on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your guys' help. So that's it for today's video. Again, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.